What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. You guys, welcome back to Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time, and today is a glorious Wednesday afternoon. You guys, there is not a lot of grandiose things to talk about in the news today. So one of the things that I thought that I would do for today, like, I don't have a Skype guest. I mean, if you've seen the show, you know how the show goes. But today, I just thought that it would be kind of cool to have a live chat. There's a long list of movies that got pushed from 2020 back to 2021 to this year. There's some interesting things on the horizon. But then again, there have also been a lot of wonderful films that have either come out earlier this year. Excuse me, I say this year, but I mean like 2020. There have been some interesting films that come out in 2020. And there have been a lot of movies that have come out in the past prior to 2020. So I thought we'd just kind of open it up and leave like an open discussion. If anybody had, like, if there's anything on your minds, I would love for now to be that moment, that time that we just kind of have like an open chat, a live chat. What is it that you guys want to talk about? If there's a question on your mind, like, so we started researching a few films of things to talk about, and I'm not quite ready. I'm not entirely prepared for some of the stuff, but for some of the episodes coming up, either later this week or next week, I want to dedicate an entire show to maybe like one movie or two movies, and we'll just kind of talk about all the stuff that we know, what's coming out, various stuff like that. So I'm just curious, what's on your minds? What are your favorite movies? Let's just kind of start a conversation today. Like I said, today's format is not the standard format that we typically follow here. Gotta Love Them Movies. This might be a shorter episode. This might be a longer episode. Who knows? That all depends on you guys. So let's build this opportunity for a live chat, a live discussion. If anybody's out there in the Facebook land watching this live, if you're watching this on playback on YouTube, apologies. I do the live chat. So over on YouTube, if you go to youtube.com, type in Gotta Love Them Movies, you'll see a red square or rectangle in the top right-hand corner that says subscribe. So go ahead and click on that subscription button. What clicking on that button does, it helps us to widen the subscriber base. And yeah, okay, so some of you are watching this on Facebook Live. Chrysiliou just checked in. So Chris, I'll get back to your comment in just a second. But yeah, with the more watched content the channel gets, or rather the more subscribers the channel gets, the more watched content the channel gets. And with the more watched content, I begin to earn ad revenue, making the show my full-time job. So I'd really appreciate you clicking that subscribe button on YouTube. And of course, as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, the live show will be moving from Facebook to YouTube. So just something to be aware of there on the horizon. All right, guys. So let's go back into the live chat. Let's talk about what you guys want to talk about. We just got a message from Chrysiliou. Chris, it's been a long time since we've sat down and had a conversation. You have been a pretty influential person in my comedy career. I've always looked up to you. Thank you for everything that you have helped to establish and bring about and inspire me, and just, collaborate in your creativity. You're a wonderful human being, a wonderful comedian, a fantastic improviser. So thank you, sir, for all of your contributions there. So Chris Aurelio says, Wikipedia 2021 in cinema page. Oh, so the Wikipedia 2021 in cinema page I checked out yesterday. This year looks stacked. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump over to that Wikipedia page. Let's see. 2021. What'd you say? 2021. in cinema Wikipedia. Cool. And I'll bring up the webpage here so you guys can see. I just, it's always weird. Okay, here we go. I think this is what you were referring to there, sir. All right, cool. So here's the Wikipedia page. 2021 in film. 2021 in film is an overview of events including award ceremonies, festivals, and a list of country-specific lists of films released and notable deaths. Wow. So this is an in-depth thing. I say that as I scroll down literally to the bottom. Let's see if there's a more. Was it 2021 in cinema? Chris, if you're still watching, if you have the link to the specific Wikipedia page, can you send it over to me, and I will put that up on the screen. But yeah, I mean, essentially, let's see. Let's jump back in here. Again, this is not the most professional thing for me to do right now. Let's see. 2021 movies. I'm sure I could probably just Google like movies coming out in 2021. Chris says list of American films. Let's see that. List of American films. Again, you guys, I apologize. This is probably the least professional thing for me to do right now. But hey, whoa. 2010s, 2020s. List of American films of 2021. All right, here we go. January through March. Wow. Okay, we've got a lot. We're not going to go through all of these movies, but my goodness, let's just look at this. The United States versus Billie Holiday. I had no idea that was coming to America. Yeah, we knew that was coming out. Chaos Walking has a lot of a lot of drama behind that. That movie was supposed to come out 3 years ago. Raya and the Last Dragon, King's Man, both of those look fantastic. The Many Saints of Newark, I know a lot of people are talking about the buzz. Morbius, the Morbius movie, which will tie into Spider-Man. Some way, somehow. We're not entirely sure how it's going to connect to Spider-Man, but yeah. Chris leaves a comment and says, it gets, I lost the comment. Where'd it go? It gets wild in March. All right, so exactly. Coming to America, Chaos Walking, Raya and the Last Dragon, The King's Man, The Many Saints of Newark, Morbius, and The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage. Woof! Yeah, that looks cool. So we'll continue to scroll down. No Time to Die. Sorry, where'd I go? No Time to Die, Peter Rabbit 2, Bob's Burgers, the movie. I had no idea that was the thing. Wow. That's kind of cool. The Mortal Kombat movie. And again, like, we need to, let's put a huge asterisk in this, you guys. Let's put a huge asterisk in this and say that, like, a lot of these movies are still subject to get moved. COVID is still raging. Movie theaters are not completely fully open yet. So things are still subject to change on these lists. But currently, this is the current updated list. Mortal Kombat, BRIOs, what's BRIOs? I've never heard of that. Tom Hanks, Caleb Landry Jones, Skeet Ulrich. All right, interesting. Oh, here we go. BRIOs is an upcoming American science fiction drama film starring Tom Hanks, written by Craig Luck and Ivor Powell, and directed by Miguel Spachonik. I'm sure I botched that, but apologies. Cool. Don't know what that's about. Fatherhood, Quiet Place 2, Last Night in Soho, Ron's Gone Wrong. That's hard to say fast. Izatami, The Asset, Black Widow, Rumble, Marry Me, Godzilla vs. Kong, Free Guy, Spiral. I will not be watching Spiral, but man, that looks cool. F9, Cruella. Is Cruella still getting? I believe I believe Cruella is coming out on Disney Plus. I don't believe that is getting a theatrical release. Infinite, The Conjuring, Devil Made Me Do It, Samaritan, Spirit Untamed. They're still making those movies. Vivo, Ghostbusters Afterlife. There's a movie that we have not been talking much about at all. Ghostbusters Afterlife. There was a lot of buzz when the first trailer dropped because nobody even knew that this was a movie that was happening. People didn't even know that, like, I'm not going to say people didn't know that it was coming out. I mean, like, we kind of knew, but there was no, like, real hard confirmation that Ghostbusters did a third Ghostbusters movie. I guess you could call it a fourth Ghostbusters movie, but, like, there wasn't, like, any hard, firm confirmation that was a project that was legit, because we had been hearing rumors of a third Ghostbusters movie within that universe. That's why you call it a third Ghostbusters movie. Yes, there was Ghostbusters 2016, but that's its own standalone thing, pretty much. But yeah, when that trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife dropped, everyone's just like, hang on, whoa. And it was a teaser trailer. It was like the music from the original film. Like the camera's kind of like going through like this field, kind of out from the forest into a field. There's a barn, like an empty abandoned barn in the middle of like this field, and it kind of creeps up into the barn. The door opens, the camera goes inside, and you see like this thing covered in like tarps and drapes and whatever, and then the wind blows and the tarp kind of blows up, and you see that, oh, it's a car underneath this tarp, and then you see the license plate and it says Ecto 1, and you're like, oh, wait, hang on, whoa, what? That was pretty cool, you guys. That was pretty cool. I did not anticipate that. Very few people anticipated that. That trailer just kind of dropped out of nowhere. Chrysiliou comments, yeah, can't tell which ones are going theatrical, streaming, or simultaneous. So much up in the air. There's a lot up in the air, Chris. There is a lot up in the air. I mean, the Disney investors meeting showed us a lot of, here, let me jump back into this. The Disney investors meeting a couple of weeks ago showed us a lot of what Disney's plans are and what they are going to release on streaming, what is coming out theatrically. Let's jump in here to June. So Luca, if you look down here, number 18, Luca, that is a picture. That's a picture. I believe that is still coming out with a theatrical release. I know Cruella, Peter Pan, and what's the other one? Cruella, Peter Pan and Wendy, and there was another live action one that they were doing. Pinocchio with Tom Hanks. So those films are coming out each year. So let's see. Hold on. Let's go back up. Cruella. So it's coming out in May. So I believe the next film, which is Pinocchio with Tom Hanks, that's coming out in May. Coming out of 2022, and then Peter Pan and Wendy will be coming out 2023, all on Disney Plus. So they said everything is still subject to change. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah. Let's continue on down here. Vivo, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Luca. Luca is a film that I'm not entirely excited for or interested in. We only got like a taste. It wasn't even a trailer. It was just like a glance, if you can call it that. It was a glance. Venom, Let There Be... In the Heights. I am very, very much looking forward to In the Heights. Yes. This movie looks incredible. It was filmed here in New York. It was filmed in Washington Heights. Directed by John M. Chu, who did, I believe, Crazy Rich Asians. I believe. I could probably look that up. Yeah, there it is, Crazy Rich Asians. And he has some other big stuff on the horizon. I think it's in Star Wars. I think he's doing some Star Wars stuff in the near future. So all of that is like, that's really cool. That's really exciting. But In the Heights just looks, the trailer just fills me with emotion, and I just get By the first time I saw it, I got so emotional I wanted to cry. Second time I came close, and like the more familiar you get with the project, the more desensitized you get to it. So I haven't been as emotional the more I watched the In Heights trailer, but it does kind of like get my gears going. Oh man, that movie looks so good. Top Gun Maverick. Should be a fun movie. Who knows what it's actually going to turn out to be, but I mean, Tom Cruise, fighter pilots, revisiting this world. Sure, why not? Yeah, I'm in. The trailers look good. Minions: The Rise of Gru. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they're still making Minions movies. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. The Minions, let me go back up here for a second. The Minions are a property that annoy me so much. I don't necessarily have a problem with the Despicable Me movies. I guess it does kind of surprise me that there's 3 of them. They're so popular that there's 3 Despicable Me movies. Okay, cool. Good for anybody who likes that kind of stuff. I am not one of those people, but I also understand I'm not the demographic audience. I'm not the kind of person that those films are targeted towards. And that's fine. I don't love the Illumination style of animation. It's fine. It's okay. It doesn't speak to me. I prefer Pixar. I prefer Disney. There's a lot of other studios. Even Leica. I understand it's a different type of animation, but I like those types of styles. There's just something about the Illumination style that it just doesn't speak to me. So like Secret Life of Pets, I still have never seen. People say some pretty good things about it. I still haven't seen it. I don't know if I will. I may at some point in the future. It just, I don't know, doesn't interest me all that much. What else was I going to say? But yeah, Minions. It surprises me that these movies are making as much money as they are, which I guess, hey, if that's what kids are into, if that's what connects with that audience, cool, go for it. I mean, if I were to have created the Minions, I would probably, that would be my passion project. Of course, I would love to bring that to whoever wants to watch it, but it's not for me, nor was it meant to be. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Man, you guys. Hold on. Let me do a quick little thing on my end so I don't have to keep jumping back and forth and back and forth. There we go. Cool. You guys, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We still haven't seen any trailers for it. We don't know what the story is going to be. I mean, the 10 Rings were introduced in the first Iron Man film 23 movies ago, which actually by the time Black Widow comes out, which is coming first, Eternals? No. Well, obviously Shang-Chi. Is it Shang-Chi or is it... Hang on. Hold on. I'm going to fact check myself. So Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings comes out in July. I thought Black Widow came out earlier. Let's let Wikipedia tell me what is right and what is wrong. Tom and Jerry. The Tom and Jerry movie looks like a lot of fun, by the way. Okay, yeah. So it looks like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Hang on a second. Where's Black Widow? Did that get pushed back to October of this year? No, hang on. Okay, bear with me, guys. I mean, there's Eternals for November of this year. Snake Eyes is another one. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Dune. Where is... Where's Black Widow? There's Shang-Chi. Interesting. Okay, so on this Wikipedia... Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. There it is. I see it now. May. Okay, that's right. So, May, I was correct. So Black Widow is coming out in May of this year. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had the browser up. Apologies. I thought you guys could see that. Chrysiliou says Hotel Transylvania sequel on that list too. Another crazy successful animated franchise. I know, right? I never saw any of the Hotel Transylvania movies. I started watching the third one back like around Halloween season, because let's be honest, you guys, Halloween is a season. A year ago, a little over a year ago, I was working on a cruise ship, doing short form improv, and some of my castmates, where were we? We were in Quebec City, in Canada, in Quebec, and there was if you haven't been to Quebec City, drop what you're doing. Maybe not right now in a COVID world. Wait till COVID is over, and then drop what you're doing. Go to Quebec City. It is the most beautiful, gorgeous city I've been to in North America. It is gorgeous. Oh, it's beautiful. Anyway, so we're just walking around, and it's fall, it's autumn. They're like the leaves are turning colors, and people have like pumpkin decorations out and everything. And I just made kind of like this comment of like, oh, you guys, it's Halloween month. And everybody was just like, hang on, what? Halloween is not a month, it's a day. You celebrate Halloween on Halloween, and that's that. And I was like, yeah, but it's Halloween month. And they just wouldn't let me live it down. And it kind of became a running joke and a running gag with pumpkins and the whole 9 yards. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was actually wearing the same hoodie for a completely different reason. I remember that. I was wearing this exact hoodie, Bugs Bunny hoodie, in Quebec City. Yeah. So, you are correct, sir. I was watching Hotel Transylvania 3. Yeah, back in the month of Halloween season. And I'm good. I don't feel like I need to watch those movies. Again, those movies are not meant for my demographic. They're not meant for me. They're kids' movies. They're children's movies. And if it works for them and if they're making money, go for it. Make some more. Why not? But yeah, Black Widow comes out in May. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So, okay, like I said, we don't know the story. We don't know what it's going to be about. We haven't even really seen any set photos. We've seen, the title card, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Cool. And that's all we got. So we know the Legend of the Ten Rings. We're probably going to get some kind of a background. I wonder if the Mandarin is going to make an appearance in this. I wonder, because do you remember that whole thing in Iron Man 3 where Sir Ben Kingsley was the Mandarin, and then come to find out, oh no, I'm just an actor who was hired to be a diversion, so the real Mandarin, who actually it was one of the special features on Thor: The Dark World. I believe it was, what's it called? Chris, if you're still watching, help me out on this. What was that short called? That kind of goes into the whole thing of like, Ben Kingsley isn't actually, but I mean, like the real Mandarin came for him, right? In the prison. You guys know what I'm talking about. Oh, All Hail the King. It was a short called All Hail the King. And there was this news reporter who came in to interview Ben Kingsley about his experience as an actor becoming the Mandarin. Of course, he's in prison, that whole thing. That old chestnut. So he's in prison and being interviewed, and it turns out that the interviewer, this reporter, isn't actually a reporter at all. He was there to break Ben Kingsley out, have the real Mandarin abduct him, because the real Mandarin wanted to have some words with Ben Kingsley about his impersonation of him, that whole thing. So we know that the Ten Rings are associated with the Mandarin. We know that the Ten Rings have popped up ever since the very first Iron Man movie, when Tony Stark was in a cave in, was it Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever he was, and he was being forced to make those help me videos, ransom videos, right? There was that flag behind him that had the 10 rings on it. And at the time, like, Whale just kind of associated it with, oh, well, it's just kind of like the Marvel's version of a terrorist organization, which probably is, very, very well might be. But Chrysiliou just commented, I gotta see this short. Yeah, it's like 12 or 13 minutes long. It's not it's still a short, but it's one of their longer shorts. And I believe it was one of the last Marvel one-shot shorts that they made. And it doesn't clarify anything, but watch it. It's silly, it's kind of goofy, but it's worth your time, man. It is worth your time. It's really cool because it kind of it lets us know that who is Aldrich Killian in Iron Man 3? What was the actor's name? I can't. The character of Aldrich Killian, he proclaimed himself to be the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. And that just was such a cop-out. That was most people's main complaint from Iron Man 3, is that you build this whole thing up, and how cool would it have been if Ben Kingsley actually was the Mandarin? How cool would that be? But then they pulled this whole bait and switch of like, no, he's just an actor. Come on. That's not interesting. We've seen that cliche played out over and over and over again, and it's not fun for anyone. I don't think it was fun for anyone. It definitely was not fun for me. It tainted the entire experience for me. Now, I say that, but there are also a lot of redeeming aspects about Iron Man 3. To me, it's one of my favorite Iron Man movies. I mean, there's only 3. I like them all. I do. I like them all. I like Iron Man 2 a lot, even though it gets a lot of hate from a lot of people. A lot of people really do not care for Iron Man 2, and that's fine. I do. I really enjoy that movie. I think I enjoyed it more than the first one. But that's just me. I mean, I get it. Not everybody's gonna love everything the same way equally, right? And that's fine. That's okay. I'm allowed to like what I like, and you're allowed to like what you're and dislike what you like as well. But Iron Man 3, I really liked that movie a lot. I would have liked to have seen them deal with Tony's PTSD a little bit more, because it was kind of glossed over. But all in all, like, I really enjoyed Iron Man 3. So all of that is to say, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, we have no idea what it's going to be about. I have a sneaky suspicion that they will be bringing in the Mandarin. Actually, hang on. Let's go over to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings for a second, shall we? Let's just read what the description is. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Hold on. Let's bring this up here. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is an upcoming American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Shang-Chi, produced by Marvel Studios, distributed by Walt Disney. It is intended to be the 25th film in the MCU. The film is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, from screenplay by a whole bunch of people. It stars Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, alongside Awkwafina, Tony Leung, Fala Chen. I will let you read these names. For fear I'm going to mispronounce them. In the film, Shang-Chi is forced to confront his past after he is drawn into the Ten Rings organization. Okay, so that right there seems to be the only bit of information we know about the film so far. In the film, Shang-Chi is forced to confront his past after he's drawn into the Ten Rings organization. A film based on Shang-Chi entered development in 2001, but did not begin in earnest until December of 2018. Interesting. Okay, cool. It's fast-tracked, blah, 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 blah. But the film's title and primary cast were announced that July, revealing the film's connection to the Mandarin. There you go. And his Ten Rings organization that appears throughout the MCU. That is correct. Filming began in February of this last year, but was put on hold due to COVID. Yada 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 yada. Okay, cool. So there you go. Yeah, so there you go. Whether you believe Wikipedia or not as a valid source of information, yeah. So there it is. Mandarin will be making an appearance in this film, and I think that's a smart move. I think that's a smart move. Let's jump back in here and see what other films are coming out, as Chrysiliou pointed out. Shang-Chi, Forever Purge. The Purge movies. Oh, Michael Grattan just commented, doing a great job. Michael Grattan, you and I need to have a conversation, mister. You know what it's about. I hope you're well. It has been, my goodness, 2004 was the last time we spoke face to face. 2004. That was a long time ago. I hope you're well. I've seen various updates from you on Facebook, sir. It looks like you're doing extraordinarily well. Yeah. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for dropping a comment. Michael Grattan, if you're still watching, send me an IM. Send me an IM. It's like we have a conversation that's long overdue, sir. I would love to chat to you. Not in a public forum. Yeah, public forum is great, but thank you. Thank you. Chrysiliou says April 30th, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Ooh, hang on a second. April 30th, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. What is this? Michael Showalter. There's a name I haven't heard for a while. Jessica Chastain, Andrew Garfield, Cherry Jones, Vincent D'Onofrio. Hang on a second. What is this? The Eyes of Tammy Faye is an upcoming American drama film directed by Michael Showalter. If you're not familiar with Michael Showalter, go watch Wet Hot American Summer. That's all you need. The TV show is brilliant. The film also brilliant. It's goofy, it's silly, it's fun. It's a wonderful movie. It's a comedic film. With a stacked cast. Amy Poehler, Paul Rudd, Janine Garofalo, David Hyde Pierce, Lake Bell, my goodness, Michael Showalter is in it, Bradley Cooper, Michael Ian Black. It's a long list. It's hysterical. Anyway, The Eyes of Tammy Faye is an upcoming American drama film, interesting, directed by Michael Showalter, based on the documentary of the same name by Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbado. I am not familiar with this. Oh, it's Tammy Faye Baker. Ooh, interesting. Hold on, sorry, I'm reading this in real time. It was announced May 2019. Just Andrew Garfield, we're going to appear in the film with Michael Showalter directing. Chastain detailed in August. Acquired the rights to Tammy Faye Baker's life in 2012. Chastain will also be doing her own singing in the film. Singing? Okay, interesting. Cherry Jones. Oh, what a treasure. Interesting. A huge cast. Wow. Sam Yeager, Vincent D'Onofrio, Gabriel Olds. Wow. Okay. Principal photography began in October 2019. Wow, they probably got shut down. Interesting. Oh, I'm not. Okay. Cool. Well, I guess if you're not familiar, here's just the basic premise. It will depict the history of televangelists Tammy Faye Baker and Jim Baker. If you're not familiar with the Tammy Faye Baker or her husband Jim Baker, they were huge televangelists in the 90s. Huge. I believe they got their start in the 80s. I believe. And it's been so long, I can't remember the drama behind them, but I believe there was a whole scandal of them swindling people out of money. I believe. Somebody fact check me on that. I believe. It's been so long, but yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah, so that looks, I mean, what a cast. My goodness. Let's jump back in. Where do we go? July. Forever, yeah, the Purge movies. How are the Purge movies still going? My cousin Tiffany Beery says, "Is that a Bugs Bunny hoodie?" It is. It is. Here, let me give you a better shot of it. Oh, let me jump up here. Let's try that one. There you go. Yes, this is a Bugs Bunny hoodie. I got it from H&M maybe like a year and a half ago or something like that. I love this thing. I wear it all the time. It's warm, it's comfortable, and yeah, it's silly and ridiculous, and I love it, and it makes me happy. Oh, the Bugs Bunny. Oh, the Bugs Bunny. All right, cool. Let's jump back into these comments. Tiffany Beery, is that a Bugs Bunny hoodie? Michael Gratton, that's great. Sending you love and best. Well, best right back to you, Mr. Gratton. Yeah, thanks. I mean, we're here to create a community and to promote love and kindness. So like those are all things that you are, sir. You are the embodiment of love and kindness. So keep it up. Keep doing what it is that you're doing. Because we here's the thing. I end every show by saying, there's a lot of opinions that go around in the world, and sometimes those thoughts and opinions clash. So let's speak kind words to each other. I try to model my life after various quotes by Mr. Rogers. Bill and Ted, just that whole like be excellent to each other. Just that sentiment of like the golden rule, treat other people the way that you want to be treated. And I understand that there's like a weird there's this idea of like, well, what if I want to be treated poorly? Man, well, come on, get off it. Stop. But yeah, I mean, we can all stand to respect each other maybe a little bit more, maybe understand each other a little bit more. We don't have to agree with each other. I'm not saying that we have to agree with each other, but here's my philosophy on movies and movie talk and creating an entire community around the Hollywood machine, right? We can all have differing opinions when it comes to politics, when it comes to religion. Sometimes those things matter. Sometimes those opinions matter. When it comes to movies, an opinion about whether Luke Skywalker should have thrown the lightsaber over his shoulder or whether he should have held it with gravitas and said, "My goodness, I've been away from the Force for so long. You need me and I'm the only person to help." It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how the story goes. We love these movies so much. It doesn't matter if you're left or right or up or down or black or white or gay or straight or whatever. Like, you can be whoever you are, and we're encouraging you to be whoever you are. Embrace who you are, whatever your beliefs are, whoever you are as a human being, however you have been created, whatever stage you are at in life. We all nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, and we need to acknowledge those mistakes. We're not going to use film and entertainment and television shows to intrinsically be better human beings. But we can look to these stories to inspire us to be better, right? Not everything needs to be about improving the human condition. Not everything. Sometimes it's fine just to sit back, relax, put on a fun, entertaining movie. Again, like Avengers. Put on an Avengers movie. Are there good morals? Are there good like life lessons and stories that we can learn and hopefully kind of incorporate to our lives? Yeah, totally, of course. But at the same time, it's a fun adventure movie. Lord of the Rings. Can we learn life lessons from it? Sure, of course we can. I remember sitting in church years ago. I was in church, and there was a person at the pulpit who was using Lord of the Rings, the entire story of Lord of the Rings, as not necessarily an allegory, but using various aspects of the Lord of the Rings story to teach various gospel principles, right? It was fun, and it was endearing, and it was kind of relatable. And then he went on to compare X-Men. Here's a dude in church talking about X-Men and relating it to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now, wherever you stand on religion and whatever, that I'm not here to talk religion or politics. That's not what this channel does. That's not what we do here. We talk movies. But the fact that I'm in church and he's talking about X-Men, sold. What can you teach me? Help me become a better person through the X-Men. And here's on that point, moving away from religion and more kind of like a self-improvement sort of thing. If you were not familiar with the X-Men, I would encourage you to maybe start looking into some of the comics, some of the not all the movies. Some of the movies are quite terrible. But look, maybe even the animated television show, which was quite good. I mean, it's corny and cheesy, and the voice acting does not hold up whatsoever. It's quite silly. But the stories that they told in that animated X-Men show were like really valuable life lessons. The X-Men were originally created by Stan Lee as kind of an allegory for the civil rights movement. Here you have a group of people who were born differently from everyone else. And for whatever reason, these people feared mutants. They feared the X-Men. Here's a group of people that can do these weird things, and they look different, and they act differently. You're dangerous, right? And then you need a group of people to stand up and be like, whoa, yes, maybe we are. Maybe on the outside we may look a little different than you, but we're the same people. It's not about what we can do. It's about who we are. That's what brings us together. And in a modern world, the X-Men have become more of an allegory for the LGBTQ community, and how important it is to, yes, be represented, but also to be accepted as a human being, and how important that is, and how, at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all the same. So, and that's one of the things that I love about like movies and television shows, and especially like all these comic book properties and cartoons and stuff like that, because they do, in kind of a maybe a third party way, kind of teach us the value of ourselves and the value of others. Anyway, I could probably go off a lot about that. Aaron Scott comments in the live chat, Gandalf is greater than a lot of religion. Gandalf is greater than a lot of religion. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not going to go so far as to agree with that per se. I understand that a lot of people have their issue. Well, okay, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there because we wanted to keep this about movies. I'm not going to get into religion or politics. If you want to talk about, Aaron Scott just said ha 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 right afterwards. Yeah. I'm going to leave that one alone because we're here to talk about movies, and I'm not saying that those aren't important topics to talk about. They are. They most definitely are. And I love having these conversations. That's not entirely exactly what we do here at Gotta Love Them Movies. So let's move on. As Chrysiliou pointed out early on in the show, Wikipedia has a big, it's a long list. Space Jam, A New Legacy. Yeah, man. Space Jam. Uncharted, another Tom Holland vehicle is slated to come out. Tom Holland, I think, has 4 movies coming out this year. It's a lot. Jungle Cruise. What's The Green Knight? Is an upcoming American epic medieval fantasy film written and directed by David Lowery. Interesting. Stars Dev Patel, Alicia Vikander, Joel Edgerton. What? Wow. We can really learn a lot from Wikipedia. There's a lot of cool things coming. The Suicide Squad, you guys. In August, the Suicide Squad movie comes out, directed by James Gunn, and it stars literally everybody on the planet. I am so ridiculously looking forward to this movie. It's probably in my top 5 most anticipated films of 2021. So, Don't Breathe 2, Respect, Deep Water, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. I never saw the first film, but supposedly, so from what I'm hearing, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard is shaping up to be a really fun flick. Candyman, again, not going to see it. I don't do scary movies. But yeah, it looks fantastic. Jackass 4, Resident. They're rebooting Resident Evil. Is that what's happening? Well, there you go. If you didn't get enough Resident Evil with Mila Jovovich, you're getting more. Not with Mila Jovovich. Interesting. Death on the Nile, which is the follow-up to Murder on the Orient Express. They're doing another Boss Baby movie. Okay, cool. Man from Toronto. Interesting. With Kevin Hart, Woody Harrelson. Wasn't there another person who was supposed to be in this movie that Woody Harrelson replaced? I believe. An Untitled My Little Pony movie. Dune is a movie so many people are looking forward to. And Dune has actually been in the news very recently. So Dune is one of those movies that got lumped into that 17 film slate from Warner Brothers that was going to drop on HBO Max. Yes, it was going to have a theatrical release, but it was also going to have an HBO Max release. Director Denis Villeneuve. Well, not just Denis Villeneuve, but a lot of other directors have come, not just directors, but, actors and producers. And Warner Brothers really upset a lot of people when they made this announcement. They upset a lot of people when they made this announcement because, filmmakers are not getting their due diligence. Dune specifically the movie Dune, is being made, was filmed. They finished filming. They may have to do reshoots, but the film it's in the can, as they say. They may still need to do reshoots. They still have to do post-production. But Dune is one of those films with such a high production value. It is meant to be seen in a movie theater. Not just that it would be better to see it in a movie theater, it is specifically designed to be seen in a movie theater. And not for nothing, but the movie Dune is being compared to like the next epic space sci-fi fantasy film. Star Wars kind of Star Wars revolutionized the blockbuster movie. Yes, you could say that Jaws, and a lot of people look to Jaws and saying like, oh, Jaws created the summer blockbuster. But Star Wars revolutionized what an epic blockbuster could be, should be, what it would look like. And it kind of set the tone for the next 40 years. Lord of the Rings kind of did a very similar thing where it's a fantasy film. Star Wars is a fantasy film, but Lord of the Rings kind of took it to a whole new level. And it's a very, very different story from Star Wars, and I understand that and everything, but it really kind of took off and became like another a cultural wonder, if you will. Dune looks like it's shaping up to kind of do a similar thing. It may suck. It may fall so short. But maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. So, yeah. So all that is to say is that Dune is one of those movies that is the director tore Warner Brothers to shreds in an open letter. He just tore them to shreds and just said, like, this is the most despicable. You didn't even give me a heads up. I found out that my movie, which I'm still working on, is going to be released on HBO Max. Okay, yeah, it's going to be released in theaters too, but you're also releasing it on HBO Max the same day, and you're not going to give this movie the chance it deserves? If you're giving people an option to watch it at home, it's not designed to be watched at home. It's designed to be seen in a movie theater. And if you're not going to give it the chance that it deserves, that it's being created for, what's the point? Dune, this movie is going to be the first in a series, hopefully a series of films. I think, isn't there supposed to be, 7 movies in the series or something like that? Maybe that's too high of a number, but it's going to be one of a few different Dune films. And if they don't give it its due diligence, if they give people the option of staying at home and watching it, and I understand COVID has messed everything up. I get it. But by the end of the year, maybe the theaters will open back up. Maybe we'll start getting back to a place where, I don't know, people are going back out in droves. We'll see. Chris Aurelio hits us back with a comment and says, Woody Harrelson replaced Jason Statham in Man of Toronto due to creative differences. That's right. I knew Woody Harrelson replaced somebody. I forgot who it was. Jason Statham. I mean, this whole creative differences thing, right? Creative differences can mean almost anything in Hollywood. Between creative differences and, what's the other one? Shia LaBeouf. It was just scheduling conflicts. Shia LaBeouf just got fired from the new Olivia Wilde film because of scheduling conflicts. I mean, he was fired back in September, but it's only now coming out that no. Olivia Wilde has a very strict don't be a jerk on set policy. And apparently he was being a jerk on set. And so she fired him, which is totally the right call. If it's totally going to affect your movie, the tone, everyone's performance, attitude on set, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. So if somebody's just being a diva, cut them loose. Pay them what you owe them and get them out, because it's only going to become a toxic environment. But yes, Jason, and I can't remember the reason why Jason Statham left the project. I remember there being a very specific reason. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it did come out. Yes, it was creative differences, but it was more than creative differences. Aaron Scott says, does anyone think one needs to do prep work for the new Dune movie? Like read the books or see the original or just jump into it? That's a great question, Aaron. By the way, whenever I think of you, I always think of that pie video that you and I made together. For anyone who needs a little bit of context, there was an event, it was like a pie event where like, hey, potluck, everybody show up and bring your favorite pie or whatever, right? And then we'll all just go around and sample everybody's pies. And so Aaron and I created this video together where like I kept throwing pies in his face as he's talking about this event. And it was silly, it was fun, it was ridiculous, and I just had a blast. I loved doing that. But yeah, Aaron, you bring up a great point of with an epic like Dune, because Dune has been in the social consciousness for decades, absolutely decades. Same thing could be said for Lord of the Rings. I never read the books. I knew nothing about Lord of the Rings before I went into the movie. I didn't even know that there were multiple films. I just thought, it's going to be one movie. It's called Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and I'm going to go watch it, and that'll be it. And we get to the end of the movie, and I loved it. I loved that movie so hard. And we get to the end of the movie, and they hadn't reached Mordor yet. They were far from reaching Mordor, actually. And the movie just ends. And I was like, No? Where's the rest of the movie, you guys? Yeah. I had no idea. So, I've never read Dune. I've never seen any of the other Dune, because there was a TV, like, made for TV movie property done in what, like 2011 or in the early to mid 2000s, something like that. And then there was the 1980s Dune. Was it 87 with Kyle MacLachlan? I never saw that either. The production values of either of those properties just don't interest me. It's that the 80s Dune, the Dune with Kyle MacLachlan has the feeling of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. Do you remember that movie with Courtney Cox and Frank Langella? Oh yeah, and of course the Punisher himself. Oh shoot, what's his name? Oh man. I played the Russian in Rocky 4. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, him. Doesn't matter. But yeah, like that's kind of the imagery that gets conjured up in my mind of like that terrible production value. Hey, we're going to create a science fiction fantasy epic, but on a limited budget. And it just, I don't know, totally falls flat. And I don't know. I have a hard time getting behind it. Anyway, but yeah, this Dolph Lundgren. Thanks, Chris. Dolph Lundgren. That was killing me. Yes. Here's the thing, if you have not seen the 80s Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren, it's not a terrible movie. I mean, it's not great. The Punisher series on Netflix is way better. Oh my goodness. I dare say that is the best Punisher incarnation that we've ever had. Not that we've had that many Punisher incarnations. There was the Thomas Jane Punisher. Not a great movie. But Thomas Jane doing the Dirty Laundry short. Has anybody seen the Dirty Laundry Punisher short with Thomas Jane reprising his role as the Punisher? It was a fan-made film, like fan-made short film. And they got Thomas Jane to come back and reprise. And Ron Perlman is in it. Right? The effects aren't great because it's a fan-made film, so they have to use very cheap-looking effects. But for a long time, that was the best incarnation of the Punisher, was a fan-made short film. But I will argue that the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie is kind of fun. I had fun with it. Chrysiliou says, 80s movies about getting back to our world. Oh, man. Right? So if you're not sure what Chris is talking about, there was a specific genre in the 1980s of fantasy movies about people from our world who got sucked into another world, or people from another world that got sucked into our world, and then the respective parties had to find a way to get back to their own respective worlds. And it was not that it was a genre, but there were so many of these movies made, it kind of became a genre. Yeah. And they were all low budget. There was, what was the one? Was it My Science Experiment? I believe was one. Yes, He-Man and Masters of the Universe. That was most definitely one. Oh man, there was a whole bunch. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But yes, that was a thing. That was a thing, you guys. All right, let's jump back in here into the Wikipedia article and finish out some of the movies coming out. The Addams Family 2, the animated Addams Family 2 film. The first one was fine. It was okay. Sure, why not? I really want to see a live action, a new live action Addams Family movie. I think that. Okay, so I often think about the words of, who was the producer of the first Superman movie? I can see his face. He produced Superman 1 and 2 and 3, and then he left, and he sold Superman to Canon Films, and then he produced Supergirl, which that turned out really well for everybody. Oh, Alexander Salkind. Alexander Salkind. On one of the DVD commentaries of the first Superman movie, he... Was it that? Maybe it wasn't Alexander Salkind. I think it was for Superman Returns. Hold on. Now I'm like, apologies. I'm accrediting the wrong person. Whenever Superman Returns in 2006 started coming out, or before it came out, before the movie was even made, whoever the producer was on that particular film started looking around and saying, like, hang on a second, like, there's a lot of Superman merchandise, like t-shirts and gold chains and graffiti art happening in pop culture right now, and we don't have any Superman. The last Superman film that we had was in the 1980s, starring Christopher Reeve. It was Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, and it was terrible. It was an absolutely terrible movie. But then gears kind of shifted, and we went to Batman. And then all through the 90s, we had a whole bunch of Batman movies. I mean, they didn't end up... Batman and Robin was a complete train wreck of a film, but, you know, we had, like, all these Batman movies. And then in the early to mid-2000s, there's kind of like a cultural push or a cultural shift to make a new Superman movie. And that was kind of the genesis for how Superman Returns came to be. Whether that was Bryan Singer who made that observation or whether that was another one of the producers on the film, I don't remember. But that was one of the genesis ideas for creating Superman Returns, right? There was this clamoring for it. There was a void. There was a hole in... It was a Superman-sized hole in society that Warner Brothers was like, hang on a second, it seems as though people want another Superman movie. So let's give the people what they want, right? And then we got Superman Returns. A lot of people didn't like it. I unabashedly love it. And yes, I understand that, like, how can you make a Superman movie with... I know I'm deviating. How can you make a Superman movie where there's not, like, an epic battle at the end? Yeah. Huge loophole there. Huge loophole. Superman lifts an entire continent made of kryptonite? Nope. But they did it, and it was what it was. And it didn't, for whatever reason, that huge loophole did not bother me. Anyway, what was I talking about? Superman, Addams Family 2. I feel like using that same kind of idea of, like, there was a huge Superman-sized hole in society that people wanted. People love the Superman character. I feel like that's true about the Addams Family right now. I mean, there was... they keep making all these different Addams Family reboot projects, right? In the 90s, we had ostensibly 3 Addams Family live-action movies. The first 2 were the only 2 people talk about, and then there was the one with Tim Curry, which wasn't very good. I even believe that there was another, like, direct-to-video Addams Family movie that was just complete garbage. And wasn't there, like, some kind of a weird reboot TV show of the Addams Family that didn't work? And now we have the animated... There's 2 animated films. There was the Broadway musical. Many people forget about the Broadway musical starring Nathan Lane as Gomez Addams. So, yeah. So I believe that there is an Addams Family shaped void in our culture, in our society, that people are kind of gravitating towards. People want a new Addams Family project. I would love to see a brand new Addams Family movie done in kind of like the same style or vein of the first 2 Addams Family movies. Because I know, it was done by Barry Sonnenfeld, I believe, who directed the first 2. If you did an Addams Family movie in the vein of like a 90s Tim Burton kind of thing, just make it really weird and creepy. Who knows? Even, hey, let's bring Jordan Peele into this. I think he could probably find a way to make it fun and weird and creepy, but, like, fun. I don't know if it's a project that he would want to take on, but I would love just to see more Addams Family live action stuff come out, whether it's on Netflix. Like, Netflix could do a really cool thing. They could do a really cool show. In fact, here, this speaks to how big of a Addams Family hole there is in society right now. Do you remember a couple of years ago when there was a fan-made trailer where somebody had, I don't know if it was filmed or if it was just cut from other projects or things, but somebody slapped together an Addams Family live action teaser trailer, and then at the very end it had the Netflix symbol on it, indicating are we getting a new Addams Family movie or like television show on Netflix? It looked legit. It totally looked legit, and it got me excited for it. It was bogus. It wasn't real, but I don't know. Then we get Halloween Kills, The Last Duel. Yeah, Ridley Scott, man. The Last Duel, bringing Ben Affleck and Matt Damon together. That sounds cool. The Last Duel is an upcoming historical drama thriller film directed by Ridley Scott based on the book The Last Duel, a true story of trial by combat in medieval France. So, I mean, Ridley Scott doesn't have the best track record right now. His Alien franchise has kind of fallen off a little bit, but yeah, whatever. Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is one of the movies that I want to do kind of more of an editorial about either tomorrow. I may do it tomorrow. I kind of want to talk about Cobra Kai tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening tomorrow, but there's a few things about Snake Eyes that I want to talk about that I'm actually kind of looking forward to. The Eternals. You guys. The Eternals. The Eternals. I have no idea who the Eternals are. I have no idea what the Eternals do. Much in the same way. On the show, I think it was yesterday, I touted myself as like a Marvel aficionado. Let me recant that just a little bit. Let me clarify. I love Marvel. I love Marvel Comics. I love the Marvel television shows. I love the characters more than I do the DC characters. It's just a preference. There's nothing right or wrong about it. It just is the way it is, right? The Eternals, I have no real understanding of I mean, like, yes, okay, I understand that the Eternals are like eternal gods, the same way that Ego, the Living Planet, was kind of an eternal entity or god or being or something like that. I know that they were like the first creatures to come into existence in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They are the oldest creatures in existence, whether they live forever or whatever that story is. It is so out there. Do you remember when Guardians of the Galaxy came out back in, was that 2016? Is that when that came out? Whenever Guardians of the Galaxy came out. Was it? Maybe it's 2013. It doesn't matter. Whenever the first Guardians of the Galaxy came out, we all kind of looked at each other and we said, who are the Guardians of the Galaxy? Now, there most definitely is a faction of people that know Guardians of the Galaxy. They are familiar with these characters, and they themselves were ridiculously excited to see their favorite characters brought to the big screen, right? But the majority of us just didn't know who Guardians of the Galaxy were. And then we saw the trailer and we're like, oh man, this looks like a fun movie. I have a feeling that Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige are doing the same thing with Eternals as what we got with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a property that very few people are familiar with. And then you're just going to surprise the pants off of everybody and just be like, here you go, enjoy. And we're all going to go like, this is the coolest thing ever. Who knows? Who knows how that's going to come out? But am I excited? Yes, but with an asterisk. I'm excited not for what the Eternals is going to be. I'm excited because this is a property that I've never heard of. And I'm excited because I trust Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. They've earned my trust. They have 11, almost 12 years of my trust. 12 years. They have 12 years worth of my trust. And I think this could be really cool. I think this is going to be really big. I think it's going to be epic. Nobody's going to see this coming. Nobody saw this coming. Anyway, I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump back into Wikipedia. Chrysiliou, if you're still watching, thank you so much for providing me with this resource, because now we actually have something to talk about. Elvis with Tom Hanks and a whole bunch of other people, directed by Baz Luhrmann. I take my issues with Elvis. We'll talk about that later. Clifford the Big Red Dog, cool. Mission Impossible 7, ridiculously excited for that. Mission Impossible 7 just might be in my top 5 most anticipated films of 2021. King Richard, okay. I'm sure it'll be good. Shakespearean type stuff just is I've never been drawn to Shakespearean type stuff. Encanto, I think, will be really cool. Gucci, meh. West Side Story, I'm very much looking forward to. Not as much as In the Heights, but it's Steven Spielberg directing a musical. That's something we've never seen before. So yeah, very interested in seeing that. American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story, starring Zachary Levi. I am not familiar with that at all. Spider-Man 3. How can you not be excited about that? It's got a massive cast. We know it's going to introduce the multiverse. Yeah, that's going to be really cool. Matrix 4, Sing 2, The Nightingale, and Babylon. Babylon with Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie. Cool. Don't know anything about it, but cool. Anyway, guys, that is, I think that's a pretty good stopping point right there. To Chrysiliou's point, 2021 is stacked. 2021 is completely stacked. Now, again, some of these films may be subject to being moved, to being changed, to being pushed back even further. We're just going to have to wait and see how this vaccine plays out, you guys. We have to wait and see. Are people going to feel safe or comfortable going back to movie theaters? Are people even going to take the vaccine? I will be taking the vaccine as soon as it is being made available to me. I know I don't know if we're in the second wave yet. I know it's healthcare workers, essential workers in that regard, and then transportation. If you're in the transportation industry, you're in the second wave, of which I am. So I will be getting the second wave of vaccination shots. I still have to look into that. I don't know when that's going to be. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being a part of this, being a part of the discussion, giving us something to talk about, leaving a ton of comments. It helps. This is what it's all about. We create community. We talk about the stuff that we love. We come up with interesting fan theories. Like, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is going to be good? Do you think that's going to be good? Even Aaron Scott brought up a really interesting question of, do we need to do our homework? I say no, going into specifically Dune, but any kind of like big epic fantasy or, epic anything really. I prefer to see the movie cold and make my own judgments about it, and then go back and check out the source material. That's my personal preference, because it's my philosophy. You should not have to, if you're going into a movie, you should not have to do any homework into that movie. The MCU is a little different, because the way the MCU is constructed, it is by design to see certain films before. Now, but then again, therein lies the genius of the MCU. Therein lies the genius of the MCU. While it is beneficial if you do see the movies, if you have, if you want to just walk into Endgame, Avengers Endgame, cold, I don't necessarily recommend that. There's so much. Okay, let's count Infinity War and Endgame as a part 1, part 2. 'Cause I think that's fair. If you walk into Avengers Infinity War cold, there's a lot of stuff that you're just not going to understand. But the movie still works as a standalone film. Infinity War being part 1, Endgame being part 2. They still work as standalone entities. If you haven't seen, in fact, when I went to go see Avengers Infinity War in theaters, I was at the Alaska State Improv Festival in Juneau, Alaska. And it was one of those situations that I wanted to see the movie so bad. I could not wait to come back to New York and see it in my favorite theater, in the Dolby Theater, surround sound, whatever, Dolby, blah, 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 whatever. I couldn't wait. I had to see it. And so there were a few people that I organized a party of people that, we all went to go see. And there was this one guy, huge shout out to Bill Merck. Love you, sir. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're well. Bill hadn't seen any Avengers movies. He hadn't seen any of the Iron Man movies. He hadn't seen any of the Captain America movies. He hadn't seen any of the Marvel MCU Spider-Man movies. He went into this whole thing completely blind, cold, had no idea who these characters were. But he sat and watched Avengers Infinity War, and he enjoyed it because it's a contained story. It is not reliant on the knowledge of previous characters. Now, you benefit from watching all the previous movies. You do. You totally do. But it was not reliant on that. So I thought it was really cool for him to have that experience. But I would have preferred for him to have the experience of seeing all of the movies leading up to that. But I mean, you talk about homework. But like I said, therein lies the genius of the MCU, is that the way that they have crafted their movies, they're all standalone movies. They're standalone stories that don't necessarily rely on the knowledge of previous films. You can watch Captain America: The Winter Soldier having never seen any other MCU film, and it works. It works all by itself. So Dune, go in and watch the movie by itself. And if a film does require, I remember when Rogue One came out and the character of Saul Guerrero popped up in Rogue One, portrayed by, what's his name? I can see Forrest Whitaker, played by Forrest Whitaker. I didn't care for the character of Saul Guerrero. He didn't make a lot of sense to me. There was no exposition. He was this guy who is there. We didn't know anything about him. And that kind of annoyed me. To which afterwards on all the chat boards and all the whatever message boards, people were saying, oh, well, you need to read this book and understand who Saul Guerrero was. Okay, fair point. But I should not have to do homework to be able to sit down and enjoy a movie. The story of a movie should be self-contained. It should not be reliant on the knowledge previously established in a different film. Now, I understand there are sequels, like A Quiet Place 1, A Quiet Place 2. We haven't seen Quiet Place 2, but nobody has. There are certain things that you do kind of like Jurassic Park versus Jurassic Park: The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3. You kind of need to see those movies in order, right? If you're going to jump into Jurassic Park 3 without seeing 1 or 2, like you have no idea you don't even need to watch 2. Without seeing the first Jurassic Park, you have no idea what's going on. Why is this happening? I don't understand. You will be lost because they are designed, but that's a series, right? With the first film, Dune, you should be able to go into it blind. Anyway, guys, I've been rambling on for quite a while. It is 2:30 on the East Coast. It's time to wrap things up. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. Thank you for giving me something to talk about and ramble about for an hour and a half. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Denis Villeneuve, the director of Dune, would want you to do. Anyway, guys, my name is Mike Brown. I'm here all the time. This is Gotta Love the Movies, your daily dose of movie news. We live in a weird, crazy world where everybody has their own thoughts and ideas, and sometimes those thoughts and ideas clash. So if you have an opportunity to infuse a little bit of kindness in the world or to speak kind words to each other, Please, I implore you, take those opportunities. And as always, in the words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. I will see you guys tomorrow.